and welcome to Studio
Set
Stage, a weekly podcast with us, Cynthia Mallard,
and MARQ, where we take you from the studio to the set to the stage
in the world of entertainment.
Hello and welcome to Studio Set Stage with us, Cynthia Mallard.
and MARQ.
Hey guys, we are back in the spot. So happy to have you here along for the ride.
Yes, glad to be here. A lot of eventful things that occurred in the world of entertainment, especially here close to home.
I know, close to
Yes.
home. Let me tell you something. I like to fell out of my seat. If you're wondering what we're talking about this viral video that captures our Atlanta
Yes.
morning show, Frank Ski and Wanda,
Right.
going back and forth with the comedian Cat Williams.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a lot to just get absorbed during the course of that. Definitely. But I tell you, it went viral. I mean, in a matter of just 24 hours, 2 to 3 million streams worldwide.
So if you're just like joining us and you don't know what we're talking about where comedian Cat Williams and comedian Wanda Smith from the morning show, Frank Ski and Wanda, they were going back and forth. So the allegations, if you listen to the video, people are saying, she came for him and he went there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And in that culture,
Her
Cat
feelings were
Williams-
hurt.
Yeah, her feelings were hurt.
Right.
She said, well, I don't really come after anyone like that. However, in the midst of that, hey, if you can't stand the heat, you need to get out the kitchen.
Right.
Because, Cat is a comedian first and foremost. So that's part of his DNA.
But she called herself a comedian too, right?
Yes.
So a lot of people say
Yes.
you need to drop the tag of comedian if you can't adhere to the culture, right?
That's been the criticism.
Yeah.
Even after listening. And, they said based on past shows or other situations where Wanda has been that one that will gut punch, even though she's no stranger to the comedy community, but Cat basically, and if you listen, I listened to the whole interview, and there was really some jewels that he was dropping in essence of how to market yourself in this current climate, in this platform where everything is digital and Netflix, and we all remember that situation with Monique and Netflix and all of that.
He also talks about how people get on like very quickly. You know what I'm saying? People, I remember him saying that people were saying, well, Cat is bitter because he doesn't have the same success as like the up and coming comedians like Tiffany Haddish and things like that. But I don't think I just think that, like you said, he was dropping jewels, comedians, everybody's getting to the top totally different than when they used to.
Yes, it is. And you got to remember, like I said, in this modern platform, I mean, you have a lot of tools and resources that will enable you to actually get there and carve out your path. I mean, no path is alike, even though there are blueprints. Like for Cat, some of his mentors and people that he idolized and looked at in the industry, like Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, and those guys. But even from there, he took, the blueprint and he built upon it and understood that it was a business. And it just comes back to it, like entertainment business, show business, music business, whatever you want to put on the top of that, show business, you're going to include business.
It's so interesting that I think one comment, like I said, this has been, this whole situation, this argument has been playing out in Atlanta for like days and days. I don't think this controversy will ever go away, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, after it happened, especially the debacle with Wanda's husband, that whole nine, it's amazing how Cat viewed the whole situation. Remember he said, effing with me, is gonna get you going viral, Wanda. So it seems like he was actually saying, yo, girl, look, you can write your check now. You can go to Hollywood like I did. But it seems like she didn't take that hint.
And for those that don't know the backstory, it was like this happened after the interview. It was the next day where they had a comedy show and they had another comedian on there that was supposed to be highlighting at the comedy show. And Cat arrived there with his bodyguard, and he was on the list. He was at the back door of the comedy club, and he came in there. And so, from my understanding, Wanda opened the door, and Cat and the bodyguard was there. And they said Cat made a beeline to Wanda and told her, "Look, effing with me is gonna get you viral." And
with your I think he didn't like
with your
expletive,
with your
he
big A.
described
Right,
her,
right.
But it sounded like that's Cat Williams' way. Like that's the comedian friendly way. It was like almost like he was giving her a way up or an olive branch.
Well, there's layers to this thing, and even on that layer, I don't think she realized, and at surface value, you might take it, oh man, you are insulting me, you dissing me.
Yeah.
But
if you're a part of the culture though,
and you understand the business,
right,
and understand what role social media plays
exactly
in building that platform, then she would have been like, okay, yeah.
I'm gonna take a leaf out of your book. Yeah.
I take this lick, but I can keep on ticking.
You know what? So it sounds like she got, she let her emotions get in. We always say, get away from your emotions because ain't no money there.
Well, moreover, her husband got in the way.
Which I mean, he's a reflection of her too. So anyway, we wish them well. We did see pictures, Kat with Tiffany Haddish at the Emmys, right?
Yes.
Speaking of the Emmys,
Sunday,
okay, right. 70th Primetime Emmy Awards went down. I think it was Monday. It was hosted by SNL's Michael Che and then Colin Jost,
right?
Who promised to have like a really diverse show this year, but gotta say it fell flat.
Yeah, I think the way they had kind of worked it out, I think the producers was trying to spread it out because I think, was it a 2-3 hour broadcast?
I can't tell you how many, but I know it went on, and I know it was very boring. You know what I'm saying? I've been in the business. I like to say I'm an actor, a host, and all that. But you know what? It was just a very long show. I felt like it was not planned out right. It just wasn't. It was not done well at all.
I think, like you said, the way certain things was organized and where they fell into place, it was like, okay, there was some moments that popped, but then it was little lull right there.
You know what? I was upset about the part where Michael Che hosted like a whole bunch of historic black actors and comedians in television and film, and that came like later on in the show. It was not in the right place, and it wasn't funny at all. I mean, hey.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think it was in terms of being consistently on to the next. I think it was like in bits and pieces, almost like a puzzle.
Exactly.
Where, okay, where do I connect, or how do I make this connection? And then maybe moments later,
very awkward.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous. But speaking of the Emmys, we will say big ups and hats off to Regina King. She won like Best Actress for a limited series. That's in 7 seconds.
Yes.
So congratulations to you, Regina King. Love you. Also, Tanya Newton won for one of my favorite shows.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Do Not Take My Black Card. Yes, I love Westworld. Okay,
Westworld.
It's a great show.
Yeah, she really her character. There's so many layers to her character.
Always.
I think that was a surprise. I mean,
it was an upset. It was an upset. Yeah.
Also, like I said, Regina King, awesome. She's a vet. But
you got to work with Regina King, didn't you?
Yes, I did. She directed not Vampire Diaries, I'm sorry. She directed Being Mary Jane. I had a chance to meet her and work with her on that set. And, down to earth, but she is a student of the game, as you say. She's a craftsman. She's been in this career forever. Oh yeah. I mean, she started out as a
child,
kid.
a child actor. So
right.
Big ups to her. Well, continuing, Tiffany Haddish, my girl, comedian. Okay, she won for her SNL guest hosting stint. So okay, she ain't just up and coming, baby. She is there. So she won an Emmy, and then we were just talking about Cat Williams. He took home an Emmy.
Yes, he did.
As the alligator man for the show Atlanta.
Yes.
So I have to say this. So going back to Wanda, I was thinking about, we listened to the interview. It's like, did you not know what type of person, what caliber of person that you had in the studio with you. You know what I'm saying?
You know, all I can think of is when he says, "Pimp down, cousin."
Pimp down, cousin. And he said it for a reason. He said it for a reason because he is a giant.
Yeah, he is. and you know, like I said, he's a veteran.
Yeah.
You know, he's actually a trailblazer in the game.
Yes.
And understanding the business aspect of it and how to all make it and bring it together
and jump from different sides.
Yes,
so he's a comedian, then he can jump to the acting serious, then he go back. But I'm an alligator man. I promise to God, on Atlanta, that you have got to see that episode. It was like the best thing ever. So I'm so happy he won the Emmy for that.
Right.
Also, you know, we want to tell you, RuPaul won best reality host for RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm a big fan. I've been watching it for years. He's still on. You're like, okay, I don't watch that RuPaul's Drag Race, but you know what? There's so much creativity and artisticness about the show.
Yes, it is. I mean, and you know, there's something for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing about it. You know, there's such a plethora of programming,
What you say,
and even
plethora?
A plethora. Yeah.
Plethora.
Yeah.
You.
Where content is king.
Yeah.
You know, especially in this modern day age. I mean, content is king, and you talked about you know, as far as with Cat Williams and being where those projects now are a product of the new platforms. Like with Netflix, for instance, I mean, for example, with Netflix is now becoming the #1 curator of original programming now.
Yeah.
And look at from where they started.
That's right.
Where they used to be like, hey, we're going to send you a DVD. You keep it for as long as you want. You can rent it. And when you're done with that one, you send it back. You know, and Blockbuster. Remember Blockbuster? You used to have Blockbusters
I do remember Blockbuster.
all corners.
I think we're dating how old we are now.
Yeah, well, I was a kid. You know, hey, you watch movies.
I wasn't born. I really wasn't born yet. But in the news and other.
Hey,
don't say anything.
What
Just
we
don't
believe
say,
is our reality.
Don't say anything. Well, you know what?
You like it,
also,
I love it.
Continuing, I think at the Emmys, like we're talking about the 70th primetime Emmys, one of the biggest snubs, and I'll leave it here, is Childish Gambino, or otherwise known as Donald Glover. He was totally snubbed at the awards.
Yes, he was nominated for how many? I think.
Well, last year he swept the awards.
Yeah,
this year
did win.
He didn't get anything,
right.
And basically for his show Atlanta. So he lost to another show that we won't really talk about because we're all into Atlanta. But he was snubbed. But everybody, the big controversy was like, who is that actor sitting in the audience? And it looked like he came as one of the characters in his show.
Yeah,
from what they were saying.
They did post a picture, and he posted a picture with that particular character.
Yeah,
but it wasn't Donald. I mean, Donald was posed with the guy, so somebody else must have gotten the mask or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't follow up on it. But anyway, we're moving on.
Right. Well, next thing, you know, in music, they had some major legislation that was passed relating to, you know, the music industry, and it was called the Music Modernization Act. And it passed in the legislature. Right now, I think they're getting the final vote in the House of Representatives.
What is it? Like, what did you call it again now?
Well, the Music Modernization Act.
Okay. You have to say that very slow. Music Modernization Act.
Right.
Okay.
Music, for those, I'm going to say it again.
Yeah.
Music Modernization Act.
Okay.
And and for short, MMA. For short, they say the MMA.
Okay.
But it creates a formalized body run by publishers that administers the mechanical licensing of compositions streamed on services.
I don't understand none of that stuff. You got to break that down in layman's terms, man.
Well, basically, right now, it's been like the Wild Wild West.
Okay.
And you have legislation like everybody, you know, that's in the industry might know of the Copyright Act.
Yeah.
But these legislation and laws, you know, that's governing now modern technology, which create this platform and digital, you know, they're using these old laws to kind of be like, okay, this is what we're going to base our royalty rates on, you know, but these laws date back to 1909.
So the old law, so basically what you're saying is the old laws keep you broke, whereas the new laws is what you need.
Well,
is that what you're talking about? I mean, you're not getting as much money with the old laws?
Well, I think the thing is, because one thing that's always going to be certain is change.
Right.
And, back when in 1909 when this law was created, you were dealing with a totally different medium. You were dealing with
different platforms. Some of these platforms were not even out yet.
They weren't even available.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So the Modernization Act is just what it is. It actually brings those, laws up to the modern day platform, and it is geared toward the songwriter, the publisher, where they can look at these royalties that now, over the platform with Spotify and Tidal, and
allows them to get paid on these digital platforms, basically.
It allows them to get paid, and it gives them more weight on saying, okay, well, basically, since we're providing the content,
they're the creators, right?
Instead of getting paid, say, a fourth of a penny on that, but it's based on subscriber services, subscriptions. We need to go ahead and make sure that we're being compensated,
right? Well, realistically, you know what, the artist,
monitored.
If the artist was not there, I mean, you wouldn't be able to have any money. Nobody would be making any money off of anything if the artist wasn't there, to create these works of art. You know what I'm saying? So I totally agree with that. I'm glad that they have modernized.
But basically, I mean, it is also a proposition that is supported by both a majority of songwriters and publishers and the digital platform, those supporters. So it's kind of like a meeting of the minds, if you will. Now you're going to have some on both sides of the coin that will debate whether it's leaning towards the digital service providers versus, like I said, the content creators. But, in this, it takes everyone to make the world go round.
It does.
So hopefully with the Modernization Act, and being an entertainer, a producer, songwriter myself, I hope that this will actually create more moves to garner and work towards the pace of, the entertainer, the songwriter, the publisher. Because, like I said, without the content, there would be no business. So hopefully these things can add some balance in that, for sure.
Well, cool. You know what? I was just thinking about our podcast, thinking about the digital, of course, you guys know we have the Studio Set Stage podcast, which you're listening to right now.
Right.
And like I said, we're on all social media platforms. So what we need you to do is we need you to jump on there. I don't care if it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Yes.
You need to jump on there right now and follow us. You know what I'm saying? Leave us some comments, talk about what we're doing that you like. Talk about some of the things that you don't like. The things that you say that you don't like, we may just ignore that, but that's okay. We still want you to engage with us because, like I said, we're still pretty new. This podcast is still pretty new. And we're just trying to trudge our way. Like I said, we are veterans of the industry.
Yes, we are veterans of the industry, like you said, and put it so eloquently. And, we want to make sure that, there's a reason why you have two ears and one mouth. And we want to hear, and we want and we invite you to partake. This is what it's about. You let us know what you want to hear and what you like, and we will do our best to provide that to you. That's what it's about.
I know some of you guys have already hit me up about kind of like the post that I do, like the Media Mondays and then the Thespian Thursdays, and then you have the post also that you do.
Yes, from the desk of MARQ Dean.
From the desk of MARQ Dean, right?
Right.
So, it's our intention just to help you in what you're doing, to let you know, hey, you're not out here alone, So
yes, indeed. I mean, and basically it's going to be a collective. Definitely with us, we want to pay it forward, experience, and that's what it's about, and passing that on, and information, tools and resources that you can use in entertainment, because it's very unorthodox. There aren't no rules, but there is a process. So
if you haven't logged on, like we said, log on to Studio Set Stage. We're on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. For Media Mondays, I know I talk about, I do simple things like how in Media Mondays, how do you get a job?
Right.
How do you write a script? It's just simple things. things that people who are just joining or who are thinking about joining the media community, things that you should know. And then on the flip side, my experience in the thespian world, you know what I'm saying? What is an audition? You know, how do you walk into an audition? You know, how is a stage audition different from a television audition? So these are things that we're talking about, but we want to make sure that you're on board with us. So definitely log on and subscribe.
You know, because this industry, you know, what you encounter is not for the faint. And
tell me about it.
You know, they
couple of times I wanted to just walk out of the room this week on different auditions, but I didn't. I trudged. I pushed through them.
Yeah, and there will be some things that you will, you know, encounter that can be rather disheartening if you look at it from, you know, half empty. You know, or look at it as half full. So motivation and keeping, you know, the right perspective on things. That's at the core. That's what I talk about starting off. I mean, in entertainment and just basically things to get your mind right, you know, and understanding things that sometimes we're all out looking out here for, you know, okay, I need to find this, where the resource might be right under your nose.
Exactly.
You know, because it is about utilizing your gifts and building on the strength of your gifts. So that's what's important.
You know, you make a great point where some people, you know, especially in this business, you know, with this podcast, Studio Set Stage, people are out there looking way out there, and the resources that you need are probably like your best friend who's sitting in the other bedroom with you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's a college mate, maybe it's a coworker that you guys have an idea for a show and you want to put it together. You know what I'm saying? You know, how do you know what to do if you're wanting to produce, say, a podcast like this, or a talk show on radio? Do you know your topic?
Yes.
You know, your theme.
Knowing what to do, how to do it, you know.
What's your time?
Yes.
How long is your show going to be?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, doing all of those things, you know, making sure that you have a plan, you know, having a strategy. You know, like Issa Rae said recently.
Issa Rae?
Issa Rae.
Creator of Insecure show.
Creator of Insecure. You know, she said that when she started out as a webisode. And online on YouTube, and she utilized her network of friends and people that was already doing things in the industry, and they pulled their resources and they remained consistent, and it was committed, and they created that webisode that launched into, you know, what is now Insecure. So you can do that, but you have to understand, like you said, what to do, how to do it, and basically implement, going from, you know, vision to fruition.
And studio to set to stage. Hey, get you a mentor is basically all we're saying is get you a mentor. If you don't have that, you know what? Feel free to drop us a line. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Studio Set Stage, of course, on YouTube, and then we're on all social media platforms. But I have my own social media. I have, you know, Cynthia Mallard. You know, you can find me there everywhere on social media under Cynthia Mallard. And then
yes, definitely. Like you said,
MARQ
Studio
Dean,
Set Stage, MARQ Dean Music.
Everywhere.
Yes, everywhere. IG, Facebook, Twitter. Reach out to us, and we will definitely respond.
Yeah. So we are going to our next phase of this podcast, this entertainment, lifestyle, brand, and podcast. We will be bringing you some amazing people, guests. So we just kind of wanted to get a feel for how you're feeling, the environment of the podcast world. But we will be bringing you some amazing guests as we continue, some guests that maybe you can reach out to and actually help to further your career.
Yes, and expanding on the different segments involving, like, going back to studio set to the stage, and basically expounding on that and making it available and accessible so you can take those tools and use it to carve out your blueprint for success.
Exactly. You know what? I just wanted to say kudos to Ego Wodum. I forgot to talk about this earlier. Ego Wodum, hats off to you. It has been announced that she is joining my African sister is joining the cast of Saturday Night Live for the show's 40th be on 4th season. So big ups to her. What was so interesting when I was kind of doing just like my little research or whatever, she went to the University of Southern California, but she majored in biology. You know, we were talking about that earlier, like degree in biology, but now she's on SNL.
Yeah, and it goes to show you, you know, where you might think, okay, well, I'm going to do this, but
this
you
is how
never know.
This is how it's going to unfold.
Right. Just earlier, I was listening on the radio, and there was a comedian that was on there, and I've heard of him. I can't think of his name right off, but he was basically saying, well, hey, you know, I'm a comedian. I'm going to be doing some shows, but I started out as a pharmacist.
Right.
You know,
oh my gosh.
and it was
gosh.
funny, but no, he was saying, no, I'm serious.
No.
I started out as a pharmacist. So, you know, and I know the
Don't
trials and tribulations that go with that.
Yeah.
So, but I'm saying everyone has a story to tell, and you never know. I mean, those gifts that are there, they might be dormant, but when the opportunity comes, you know, everything happens for a reason.
You have to
There's
seize
purpose.
the opportunity.
You have to.
Carpe diem. Seize the day. Hello?
Yeah.
Seize the day. Seize the
Yes.
opportunity. Yeah, you thought that was pretty cool, didn't you? Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah.
I'll give you some cool points on that.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, guys, like I said, thank you so very much for joining us here on Studio Set Stage. We are here every week. New episodes upload. We're trying to make sure we get them up there like every Friday.
Yes, every Friday. And again, subscribe to the YouTube page. We're going to be on iTunes, and we're going to work to just expand this platform so it's accessible to everybody. Yes.
And hopefully you understand everything that we're saying. If not, send us a line. Just say, hey, I didn't understand that. And we'll repeat it. We'll go back over what it is. Because you have to think about it now. Guys, we are not just people who are just sitting here talking about it. Like, we are people who are actually in the industry. I am a working actor. You know, I tell anybody, you know, I go from audition to audition, call back to call back. You know, I'm a host. You know, I may go from show to show. So we're just like you. And then you just like,
I mean,
you're teaching, you're
in the craft, producing,
Yeah.
you know, dealing with music licensing, also every day, you know, understanding the business model right now across entertainment. So look, come and, you know, definitely connect with us. That's what it's about.
Well, wonderful. Okay, well, I'm Cynthia Mallard.
I'm Mark Dean.
And this has been
Studio Set Stage.
See you next time.
This has been a Studio Set Stage podcast production, copyright 2018, all rights reserved.